Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order this work session for February 9th for the Carroll County Board of Education. At this time, I'd like to welcome all of our visitors. We're excited to hear from several of you today, and welcome to our board meeting. If you would, stand with me as we do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to ask a point of privilege as the chair for one quick thing. We got our board member, Tom Sizemore. His wife has been in some major surgery today. I'd like to let everybody know that I just spoke with him and everything's gone well, but she's gonna have some extensive recovery. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to have a prayer for her and also for the family of a youngster in Temple that was in a car accident, not at the school, but last Thursday, and succumbed to his injuries and did not make it. So if you would, join me in prayer if you don't mind. Father God, we just thank you, Lord, for everything that you give us and provide for us. Lord, we know that God, every good thing, everything comes from you. And Lord, today we come to you asking for Vicki Sizemore for good recovery, and for our brother Tom to be with her, and all those doctors and nurses for all the stuff that's going on today. God, we're just so thankful to hear the good report. Be with them as they go through these days and the continued recovery. Lord, for this young man that lost his life, I pray for his family and for all the students and all the community of Temple, and for those that knew and loved him. God, be with his family during these days of grief. Lord, surround them with whatever and whomever is needed to assist and help in this time. We ask in Jesus' name, amen. Thank you so much for that. And now we'll turn this meeting over to Dr. Jessica Ainsworth for student achievement.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Mr. Miller and members of the board, we are excited to share with you guys that the month of February is CTAE month across the country. So it's very fitting that Ms. Clayton, our Executive Director of Career Technical Agricultural Education, is here, as well as a guest speaker. And then we have a short video that we would like to show you guys about our CTAE offerings. So Ms. Clayton, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Ainsworth. Can you guys hear me okay?
Sure can.
Good afternoon, board members, cabinet members. It's good to be here and good to talk about one of my favorite subjects, career and tech and ag education, and it is CTAE month. We're celebrating all week at the CCAs and at the ag and business ed programs, so come by and see what fun things we've got going on this week especially. Do want to highlight that career and tech, of course, is my passion. 71% of our students last year took a CTAE course, but we're not satisfied with that. We want more than 71% of the high school students. So I want to share with you a recently completed video that we have. It's only about 90 seconds long, and let you see that. We'll be using this for recruitment.
Are you ready to unlock your future? At Carroll County Schools College and Career Academies, we're empowering students to graduate ready to be enrolled, enlisted, or employed and engaged in their community. Through our 2 campuses and strong community partnerships with organizations like Tanner Health, Southwire, the University of West Georgia, and West Georgia Technical College, students gain hands-on training and real-world experiences. They get a jump start on their careers with dual enrollment, internships, and junior ROTC experiences. In high school, each student chooses a career pathway based on their skills, talent, and interests. We're preparing students to excel no matter which way their path leads.
I had to find a career that I wanted and I liked that was meaningful and impactful. The CCA offered different pathways for you to look at and explore. They taught me so many skills, interpersonal skills, leadership skills, interview skills. To this day, I'm so grateful for the time and experiences I was able to have while I was there. I got more into my early childhood education class, and they sent us to elementary schools. And the first elementary school they sent me to was a kindergarten classroom of all places. And I fell in love with it. Without the CCA, I don't know if I would be where I am today. I really, really, truly don't think I would be.
Discover your potential, explore your passions, build your future with Carroll County Schools College and Career Academies. Visit carrollcountyschools.com to learn more.
And that video does feature one of our homegrown, Miss Madison, who is now working for us in early childhood education. I want to give a shout out to Miss Charity Aaron and Mr. Ben Chambers that helped us pull this video together, and I wanted to share it with you. But tonight, in celebration of CTAE month, I reached out to our district teacher of the year, Miss Robin Porter, who is computer science business ed teacher at Villarica High School, and asked her, I said, Ms. Porter, can you select our CTA Spotlight student that we want to present at the month, for CTAE month? And she chose an exceptional young lady from Villarica High School, Miss Christian Johnson. She's a member of FBLA. She's an officer. She's been involved in esports. She has completed the programming computer science pathway. She's also an AP and a dual enrollment student. So this student exemplifies achievement, success, what it means to take advantage of multiple pathways and all that Carroll County Schools has to offer. Upon a field trip, an excursion, Mr. Cowart, to Georgia State University, she realized she wanted to go to school there and major in computer science and business. So that's her career goal. She asked me to share that. And she's prepared a brief statement she wants to share with us. And she's a little bit intimidated. She said, this looks like a mock trial setting. So come on up, Christian. I swear they're not. You're not going before the judge and jury. They're family. They're family and friends, and they want to hear from you. So without further ado, Christian, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hi, I'm Christian Johnson, and I'm an 11th grade student at Villarica High School. I am currently enrolled in the computer science pathway taught by Ms. Porter. And since starting this pathway in 9th grade, I've been able to, I've had so many wonderful opportunities open up in my life. And standing here today is truly a reflection of how this program has, how impactful this program has been for me. One of the things I really value about the computer science pathway is the learning environment we've been given. Recently, we got a brand new computer science classroom equipped with high-performance Alienware computers, which allow us to run advanced programs and learn on a professional level. The room also has TVs positioned all around it, which allows Ms. Porter to project lessons and demonstrations from anywhere in the room. This setup makes learning very interactive and helps everyone, including me and all other students, stay engaged and ensures that we can clearly follow along no matter where we are in the room. Having access to this type of technology has not only improved how we learn, but has also helped prepare us for careers in technology by giving us hands-on experience with professional tools. The computer science pathway, along with Ms. Porter, has given me resources and support and opportunities to grow. This pathway has allowed me to accomplish things I never imagined. An example of that is this year I was nominated for the Governor's Honors Program in computer science, where I made it to the state level and, state nomination. And I've also participated in the County Tech Fair, where I designed a project that used technology to create a animation video where I earned first place. These experiences have helped me grow both academically and personally, and have shown me how impactful CTAE programs like computer science can be in preparing students for future success. Thank you so much for your time.
And Christian, I want to present you with a certificate of appreciation for your academic excellence and achievement, and for being the district-wide CTAE Spotlight student for CTAE month. And of course, attached to it, we got a little bit of Chick-fil-A. So thank you so much. And board, thank you for your support. And I think you've seen this awesome lab. Without you, it would not be possible. Okay, does anybody have any questions or comments?
Have any questions from the board?
I don't have any questions, but I'd like to make a comment. I was flying in from Ohio, and I was seated by this gentleman, and I mentioned Villarica. He said, that's where I'm going. I said, oh. He said, I'm going to serve pro. So we talked back and forth about the pathways in Carroll County, and he was so impressed that when we did the conversation at the high school, one of the representatives from ServPro came over to tell me that he shared that with them at a meeting. So the word is getting out.
Thank you, Dr. Brooks.
You did a wonderful job speaking of.
Thank you.
Proud of you.
Christian, we're excited for you, and to think that you got another whole year, if you're just in the 11th grade, to serve as a great ambassador for all the great things going on at our CCAs. Thank you so much.
Oh, yes.
And by the way, we like to thank our leadership and of course our Teacher of the Year for being here, for all the great work. It's tremendous.
Thank you.
We want to thank Mom for being an escort today.
Okay. Moving right along, we'll go to stakeholder engagement with Mr. Scott Carroll, our superintendent.
Before we start with that, a comment relative to Christian's presentation. She talked about the new lab there in Villarica that will serve both Villarica and Temple High School students. We are currently renovating a lab room at South CCA that will serve Bowden, Mount Zion, and Central with that same high-tech approach. So we're very excited about that as one of our improvements for our students. I want to bring the board up to date on our planning for our instructional calendars for the next 2 years. Dr. Ainsworth reported on this in January, and I'm going to let her give you an update of where her dynamic team is relative to their recommendation that we'd like to bring to you Thursday night, hopefully for approval. Dr. Ainsworth?
Thank you, Mr. Coward. At the January board meeting, we shared with you guys the previously approved 26-27 calendar and the proposed 27-28 calendar. Those have been lying on the table since January to receive feedback. We established a calendar dynamic team of multiple people in schools, as well as district office, and solicited input from a variety of different stakeholders, including our parents, our students, the community. We've advertised it on the district website, as well as our Teachers of the Year from each of our schools, our student superintendent ambassadors. Mr. Cowart collaborated with other superintendents, and from that feedback, we have the proposed 26-27 calendar that was previously approved and the proposed 27-28 calendar, and we recommend that it be a business item Thursday night for discussion.
Okay, any questions, or does anybody have an issue with that being on the consent agenda for Thursday?
So will all the surrounding counties have spring, all the breaks simultaneously?
Definitely us in Carrollton City.
Okay.
Most of the rest of them are very, very similar. Some of them are not exact, but we've made sure that when it comes to Carrollton City, we're lined up, especially for our faith community, because so many of them take trips around winter break and spring break. It really helps if we got that done.
Did we have a lot of comments from parents or really anybody?
Yes, we didn't have parent feedback from advertising on the district website. So, Ms. Morris, a strategy we use is we go out and solicit input from parents of young children, middle school age, as well as high school. What they appreciate are the breaks that are predictable. So they know from family planning of when fall break will be. They know spring break. They know our winter break. And because of the predictability, they're able to plan for the future. They also like finishing before Memorial Day, as well as our teachers. That allows many of our families to go ahead and go on a family vacation. They did share that the cost is usually cheaper when they can travel in May instead of in those summer months.
Good stuff. Anything else? Is everybody okay with Thursday then for the consent agenda? Very good.
Chair, that's all I have under stakeholder engagement.
Okay, great deal. At this point in time, we'll go to Mr. Glenn Harding for organizational excellence.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to give a quick update on Mountain Zion Middle School and Temple Middle School. Those are our two big projects that are going on right now. At Mountain Zion, we actually have the utilities being roughed in at this moment. The plumbing is complete, and we're anticipating the slab to be poured right here on 213. And also the parking areas that you see on the screen, the lower part, has been completed in the sense of the coating. The striping is this week, weather permitting, and the school will actually start using those the following week. So Mountain Zion's moving right along, just a little bit behind because of the weather, but Mountain Zion is moving forward pretty good. At Temple Middle School, pretty much in the same area as far as the plumbing and the structure of the steel was put on site, as you can see here. The weather, for some reason, at Temple Middle School has been a little worse. I know we're in the same county, but on the north side, so we are behind here, but we're not so far behind. I got in my notes here that completion date is still scheduled for opening of the school, so hopefully we won't continue and we'll find ways to get caught up. But the work on the retention pond, also you can't see here, but it's been slowed down just a little bit too. So again, Temple Middle School is a little bit behind, but not so concerning right now that we don't think we'll still finish on opening of school. In addition to these two reports, I do want to let everyone know tomorrow we will be meeting with the Georgia DOE for our 5-year facility review. I think a couple of months ago I told you all about that. So we've got a team coming in. We will visit Mountain Zion Middle School, Mountain Zion High School, and time permitting North CCA. Those are the schools that were selected. So we look forward to that visit tomorrow, and then I'll report on that next month when we're together. Next, Mr. Chair, is we have the fundraisers and field trips that is attached to e-board. We're asking for those to be reviewed and put on the consent agenda for Thursday night.
Good. Anybody got any issue with those documents being added to the consent agenda for Thursday? Okay. Any questions regarding the update on the facilities? Very good.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. And now we'll go on down to financial by Mrs. Delene Wolf.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. I have 3 information updates this evening. First is the December financial report. For December, the total revenues and transfers in, as well as expenditures and transfers out, are included for each of the 3 primary funds. For the general fund, revenues were $27.7 million. Expenditures totaled $16 million. Fund balance after adjustments is $65.5 million, and outstanding encumbrances or purchase orders were $3.7 million. For the month of December, this is the month where the fund balance is the highest for the year, and that is because of the annual property tax due date in the month of December. At this time of the year, the total balance represents about 3.5 months of operating expenses. However, fund balance is measured at the end of the fiscal year, and the district is on target to have a balance representing less than 2 months at the end of the fiscal year. For SPLOST, for the month of December, the receipts totaled $2 million, which is a 5.7% increase over December receipts of the prior year. That also represents what the total for 2025 calendar year versus the total for 2024's calendar year, which was approximately 5.8% increase in collections for the calendar year. For SPLOST expenditures, a total for December was $106.6 thousand, with a balance of 11.5 million for projects, for the scheduled projects. I'd be happy to answer any questions on the financial report.
Very good. Any questions? That's encouraging that the SPOS was up that 5%. That shows things trending in the right direction, economic-wise. That's good.
Right, the next report I have is an update on the fiscal year 27 budget, which is for the 26-27 school year. The budget timeline begins in the fall. It begins with the board advance, which was in December. At this point in the budget timeline is where we're providing monthly updates, and we'll continue to do that through June. Part of those updates are include the changes in revenue and expenditure estimates, the assumptions that derive those estimates, as well as items for board consideration for the next fiscal year. And first, looking at what's new or what's different in the projections for revenue, there have been two updates. The first one is shown in the first line, and initially the estimate was for equalization and transportation funding from the state to be stable. Based on the governor's proposed budget for next year, both of those line items show an increase in the total statewide budget. So I've updated the estimate here to show an increase for those two line items. We will not know exactly what that will look like for the district until we get our allotment sheet. But I felt comfortable moving those over to the increase column based on that proposed budget. Then the middle of the column, close to the bottom, for federal programs. Initially, the information that we were receiving indicated that we would have more cuts on the federal program sides, particularly for the minor federal programs. So this was good news with the moving the minor federal programs from the decrease column over to the stable column. Okay. So at this point, we estimate that those will be stable funding. Now, unfortunately, even with stable funding, the cost of things are increasing. Right. So with stable funding, that also means a decrease in services. And moving to expenditure projections. While we were tentatively expecting that there would be an increase in employee benefit cost, we now have that information from the governor's proposed budget that the health insurance premiums that the district pays as the employer is increasing 7.6%. The TRS employer portion is also increasing, so that has been updated. We're still early in the budget process, and this information will continue to be updated as we get new information, especially when we receive our state allotment sheet. That will give us a better idea of what the state funding will be. From the perspective of state funding, it is very difficult to estimate what equalization would be, what the local 5 mil share would be. So those are a couple of things that could change the estimates in a significant way. But overall, at this point in the process, we're estimating a revenue change of $4.9 million and a corresponding expenditure change of $4.9 million. On that expenditure change, those employer benefit costs represent 2/3 of that amount. So that's the primary driver, and then a portion of that is state funded.
So over 3 million increase in,
Yes,
Just
right
a-
around 3.2 million just in benefits
Wow.
for current staff, for the general fund. Right. Then also attached in e-board are the items for consideration as part of the budget. The list includes recurring items at the top of the sheet and the non-recurring items to follow. A few of these items are already included in the initial estimates of the budget, and those items are reflected with an asterisk beside those dollar amounts. Are there any questions on the budget update?
I'd like to ask one question. I want you to backtrack a little bit. You said that we were at, right now, at 3.5 months reserve, and it looked like we would be going down to less than 2 months. How much does the state recommend that we should have on hand for reserve?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with what, or if there is a statewide recommendation, but however, historically, the district has hovered around less than 2 months at the end of the fiscal year, which is the point where it's officially measured. Because the cash flow goes up and down because of the property taxes only come in once a year, and so that skews the balance in the middle of the year. And then, towards October, November, it skews the balance low. December, January, it skews the balance, on the higher end. So but as far as, to have a very conservative, lean approach, that 2-month mark is a very conservative approach. So that still allows the district to continue operations if there were an unexpected interruption to cash flow.
So you're not really concerned?
So
That just doesn't sound like enough to me, but.
I think didn't we look at some others surrounding, and that we were on maybe the lower end of the, at the 2 months, and we looked at some other, I guess, government entities around here that were considerably more, if I remember.
Yeah, so it was almost a year ago, we did get some data to compare and benchmark against other districts, and there are several districts that are in have a similar number of months of reserve, and there are others that have more, some that have less. Across the state, for the district, it is more conservative with a lower amount. Historically, that has, just under 2-month mark has been sufficient to carry the district through the years, through each year.
We've never really had an emergency though where the funding stopped. And hopefully we never will, but.
Since I've been with the district, there's been 2 months out of the several years I've been with the district there where our state funding was delayed, and that it was a good thing that we had that fund balance too.
Good stuff.
Are we still part of the strategic waiver? That's part of our strategic waiver that says we have no cap on how much money we can put in the bank. Used to, the state had a limit, but when we signed the strategic waiver,
The state's even done away with the limit.
even their limit.
Yeah. But you're right, under the strategic waiver, when we first went in, that was one of the things.
And we're still underneath that, I guess.
The point that Ms. Wolf makes is probably the most pertinent to us is that historically, well, 2 things. One, best practice typically says 2 months, give or take, for a school system. A little bit above, a little bit below. 2, historically, when you study Carroll County, and when I took over in 2010, I looked backwards 5 years just to try to make myself aware. But then you forward through the 16 years that I've been here, that's where we try to stay pretty much all the time, is just above or just below. that, because that gives us the threshold, she says, to make sure if we have a month where the state, or Lord forbid, if there were a couple months, that, you know, our people are not gonna suffer from us not being able to make payroll. But at the same time, and I think Ms. Wolf continues to use the word conservative, we've tried to be very conservative. The state, some of our legislators at the state look at school systems whose fund balance is much more than 2%. It's not being conservative enough in their approach to how much money they have in the bank. So we're trying to balance out having enough but not having more than is needed.
I do have a question. When you say 2 months, does that only include payroll?
No, too much expenses.
Everything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else for Ms. Wolf?
I have one more report.
Okay, yeah.
All right, the last update that I have is an update on the proposed bond issuance for the Series 2026 bonds. The timeline for that would start this month. Some key dates in the process would essentially end with closing the bonds and receiving the bond proceeds on Thursday, May the 14th. Prior to that, for discussion and possible action on Thursday, April 16th, board meeting would be adopting the bond resolution and bond purchase agreement. Following that, if those are adopted, then on May 5th, the Board of Commissioners would be scheduled to adopt the tax levy resolution. And this timeline then would allow for the proceeds to be received in time to begin the construction for the scheduled projects this summer. I'd be happy to answer any questions on the timeline.
And of course, these are the bonded projects as part of SPLOST 7.
Mhm. Any questions on the bonds? Very good.
And that concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Wolf. Okay, at this time, we're gonna go back to Superintendent Scott Carroll, filling in for Mr. Jerry Griffiths under continuous improvement.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And please keep Mr. Griffiths in your thoughts. He's dealing with a little bit of a bug right now. But he wanted to report that we're deep, being our principals, into the process of determining who's returning, who may be retired, who may be resigning, who are we offering contracts to, who we're not offering contracts to, for the purposes of hiring for next year. So we're very, very deep into that, and that makes it very busy in his department in trying to support our people out in our buildings. And with that, this coming Thursday night, you'll see the list for your approval of early contracts. Remember, we started a few years ago where we tried to get contracts out a little earlier. In the past, I think it was closer to April. Now we do it in February, and we're actually talking about next year maybe even doing it in January. We're looking at that because some other districts around us are doing it earlier. But you'll have early contracts for all of our certified staff who are being recommended this time. Remember, there are some schools that are not, they're holding back on a few people to make sure that they meet some obligations they have to meet relative to their performance. And so a second round of contracts will come out in April. So there'll be 2 rounds of contracts for all of our teachers, counselors, people, media specialist people, certified contracts. I'll be glad to answer any questions that I can for the board around our work to hire people and keep people for next year.
Any questions? Good
I
deal.
do have.
Yes, ma'am.
Who's responsible for evaluating the nurses?
Dr. Ainsworth, can you update on that?
That's part of our whole child department, so Ms. Leslie Green leads that department, and she evaluates the nurses with Ms. Patty Yonkers, our lead nurse.
Oh, Ms. Patty. Very good. Any other questions? Good question. Okay. Anything else, Mr. Carroll?
No, sir, not under that section.
All right, we'll go to public input. Seeing nobody here for public input, we'll move on to business items.
Mr. Chair, we do have one business item. I'll let Mr. Glenn Harding share with the board information around our annual contract for athletic trainer services.
Thank you, Mr. Coward. If I could report that, remember earlier in the year, we had a contract with Southern Therapy. We've had a change in that contract to Tanner. This contract is, what's in it is no different. We're just changing partnerships with Tanner Medical Center. The amount of $165,000 is the same amount. So really, it's only changing the name from Southern Therapy Partnership to Tanner Partnership. So we ask for any discussion on that, Ms. Morris.
How do we go about deciding if we're making a change, who we pick?
Yes, ma'am.
Do we do it for bids, or? I
No,
know
ma'am.
there's a lot of therapy places now.
Yes, yes. So we were under contract with Southern Therapy, and Southern Therapy was in talks with Tanner. Don't know exactly what the end game was in that, but the Tanner took our current trainers, and we just changed that partnership from Southern Therapy, because they're not servicing that any longer, so Tanner picked up
Okay,
that.
our trainers, or they their trainers?
It's their trainers,
They're
athletic
okay.
trainers.
Okay.
and
The ones we were working with.
Same
Same people.
trainers and everything, and we are, the financial part of that is 50/50 with Tanner.
Is
Same
it
as
just to continue, or is it a whole new contract?
It's just a new contract for changing over Southern Therapy to Tanner. Nothing in the contract changed except the name, but I felt like I needed to bring that forth. And then this summer, at July, we would
Yeah, so
have.
this is just finishing up?
Yes, ma'am,
Okay.
it is.
All right.
Good stuff.
Southern Therapy got out of the business of
Yes.
having their trainers is the biggest reason.
I do have something. You are gonna change this date, right?
On the contract,
Uh-huh.
I'll have to look at which one you're referring to.
2025 at the top.
Yeah, it's a 25, 26 school year.
This is the current year.
Uh-huh,
Southern Therapy is no longer
uh-huh.
supporting those trainers. They're
Uh-huh.
now supported and controlled by Tanner, so this is for current year.
But yes, we can, Mr. Coward, we
Yeah,
could
that's what
change
you're
that to 26, since
Maybe.
that is today's
I got you.
year. That's not a problem.
Yeah,
Good
okay,
catch there, Dr. Brooks.
okay.
Very good. Anything else regarding the athletic trainer of this business item? Is there any other business items to be brought before the board? Okay, at this time, we'll ask for a review of the agenda for the February 12 board meeting.
We have nothing to recommend as change other than to remind the board that we will start at 6 o'clock, not 6:30, because we made that change last month. And it will be at the PAC.
PAC, 6 o'clock, very good.
Mr. Chairman, do we need an action on that business item of the contract change?
Oh, do we? Okay.
I'm not sure.
I
I'm
would
not,
think
it
we
just said
do,
review,
yeah.
I didn't know.
Yes,
So-
that would be, you're
So-
correct. Good catch, Mr. Turner. We do ask the board to approve that contract for the rest of the year.
Okay, I'm sorry, I apologize. We would ask for action on that.
I'll make the motion.
Thursday? For Thursday.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, it needs
Okay.
to be for Thursday, or we make?
No, we need to take the
action
action for the,
This is a business
Agenda.
item for tonight.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I make a motion that we accept the change in contract from Southern Therapy to Tanner under the same Indian contract.
I'll second.
All those in favor, please raise your right hand. And that's unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Attorney. Now we'll ask for a review of the agenda. And do we have to take action on that or just review? Okay.
Just review if case there were any changes.
Anything come before the board on that? Again, it'll be at 6 p.m. at the PAC. Okay, at this time, do we have anything for executive session this evening?
No, sir, with Mr. Griffiths being out, we did not get our personnel actions ready in time, so we'll have all those for Thursday.
Does anybody from the board see any need to take, to go to executive session? Okay, so at this time, there'll be no personnel actions. We'll go right down to board member comments.
Mr. Chair, I would remind board members, we have our star student teacher breakfast is Thursday morning. Hopefully you can attend. It will be 8 o'clock, is that right, Dr. Ainsworth?
Yes, sir.
PAC. Always a good morning to recognize some of our best students and best teachers across the district, so it's an exciting time, and if you can be there, we'd love to see you.
That's at the PAC.
Yes, ma'am.
It's at 8 a.m.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else brought from the board? Yes, sir, Mr. Turner.
Mr. Chair, listening to the report tonight, from our CTAE and those programs and stuff, I had an idea that sort of came up. I thought, hey, why don't I share this and just sort of at least get the thoughts going? It's a very positive thing. But when we're training kids, in our high school, and we got to see an example of somebody who caught the vision from something we supplied through CTAE or through college career.
Mm-hmm.
She caught the vision, she goes, she gets her continued education, gets her degree, turns around and ends up being an employee for this very system. Well, in a lot of regards, I remember whenever Sheriff Langley came and presented about the opportunities that we had with our law enforcement line, and him, offering, hey, we're going to make sure these kids have an opportunity with us if they go through this right out of high school. I know there's still a process to become teachers, but we're also, providing people that have other, from HVAC stuff to mechanical things and carpentry type things. I would love to see if we might explore or consider, to task Mr. Carroll to consider this, but what if we had some type of incentive that said, hey, if you came through our college career in a path that you could end up eventually being hired by our county, that what if we had some type of incentive that once that circle was completed, we were able to participate in some kind of way to either reward or to, continue on saying this would be a product of something from our system, and we're, then have the ability to hire them. Anywhere from our maintenance to becoming a teacher to whatever those areas are. We're creating those paths, and we ask businesses to partner with us all the time to incentivize kids to carry on. What if we came up with some type of creative way to maybe do the same kind of idea? Just a thought. I'd like to throw that out to at least, see what, others may think, or maybe it'll jog some type of idea.
Would this be like almost like a recruitment tool, so to speak?
I think there's no doubt that would be the end result, is hoping that they would love to reinvest here in some kind of way. And if they're valued enough, just as this young lady was, to hire, I think it would be neat if we had something that we were able to say, here's full circle. We keep that on the front end so that those kids hear about that while they're in school and say, hey, if you were to choose this career path and eventually become an employee of our system, here's something that we would offer. Here's something we would do, that might incentivize, kids to be invested in. Just a thought, an idea. Just wondered what you guys might think about something like that.
I'd be glad to get Mr. Griffiths and his team to look what some other district may be doing, or
Maybe.
we'd be a trendsetter.
Sure.
If somebody's not doing something like that, but we'll do that, and as we go through this process of budget, we'll report back on the board what we might suggest.
Go ahead, Dr. Brooks.
Would you put a resolution together that was sanctioned
Yeah, I think if we explored what our options were, then we could decide from there if there was something that would need to be done. You know, there may be another system already doing that. I think that's a very valid point. Or it, like you said, this may be something that's for a first, you know, a full term, full cycle type event. Just a thought.
Very good.
Were you thinking maybe a cash incentive?
Yeah, maybe a sign-on,
Yeah,
that's an
sign-on
idea.
bonus,
It may be
yeah.
that, hey, you receive X number of dollars, you know, for the number of years you're employed with us after the fact each year, in addition to what your standard salary is. I mean, I think there's a gazillion ways we can do it. It could be a one-time thing, it could be, you know, something that's over a longer period of time. But I do think it would encourage, you know, some kids to catch the vision with a little bit of another incentive of some kind. Just a thought.
I like the idea.
And I think early on, when you mentioned in that was after a time period, I know a lot of people, they do these sign-on bonuses
Yes.
now. But the sign-on bonus is only good
If you stay.
a certain amount of time.
That's correct. I
Yeah.
think there's all kinds of things like that to think about.
Right.
Fine print.
Well, you wanna know they're gonna
Yeah.
invest and not just get the payout. You know, you wanna know that they're here to stay and that, you know, they would be a good investment for us.
Very good. Anything else tonight? Would we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion
So big.
and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. We'll consider ourselves adjourned.